Okay, my topic is outsourcing jobs to China, and to give a little background check, pretty sure most of you took some sort of American history. We all know that back then America was #1 in manufacturing products in the whole earth, as I would say. But now in the present, America has not even gone up to top 5 or top 10. That's and then carrying on to my major claim, outsourcing jobs overseas will have a negative impact to the USA's economy. Outsourcing jobs overseas will increase employment. It will force our dependence upon to other countries and nations, and it will harm the overall circulation of money that we have in our nation. Okay, in my first secondary claim, outsourcing jobs, of course we expect our employment rate to go down, but from 2005, in an article written in New York Times, about 14 million jobs have been created overseas. Yet in America, 7.9 million jobs in the States have gone kaput. It is done, and that's from 2005. Now from 2005 to here in the present times, we expect to see a major change. It is true that while unemployment rates have gone down a significant amount of number, those are for other careers that are not manufacturing it's not specified to manufacturing. It's more like blue-collar jobs such as lawyers, doctors, engineers, things that require a college degree. Thus, this creates a gap between the rich and the poor, which means the rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer. We all say that education is how we will get out of poverty. Yet, because of education, it costs money, which we don't have because we outsource these jobs overseas. Now we're all asking, why is it that corporations are doing this? Because, of course, as a college student, I know this already, why aren't professionals doing anything? It's because sometimes it forces domestic manufacturers to either go out of business or follow the same path. For example, if Walmart gives all the jobs to China and their products are cheaper, people won't go to Target because it's more expensive. They'll stick with Walmart, and Target will either follow Walmart or go out of business. In my second claim, outsourcing jobs overseas will force dependence on other countries. For example, in the article written by Alex Legg in The American Progress, labor costs in China and everyone else are raising, and coupled with rising fuel prices and rising shipping costs, the economic argument for sending jobs overseas may be becoming less persuasive. Despite these increasing costs, the Duke survey found that only 4% of the large corporation has come back to the United States. Why is that? They're still losing money, but they're saving more money than they're losing. So in the end, it's just about how much money that they're saving. They don't really care about the quality of their materials. They don't really care how much this affects our own people as long as their corporation stays in business. This also means that as the U.S., we lose our position and competition in the world of free market. And then in my last claim, outsourcing jobs overseas will harm the overall circulation of money. When we get high-priced goods but with low wage costs, the staggering amount of proportion of money left over doesn't go straight back to the people as we thought. It goes straight back to the company's pockets. In fact, in an article by Remington Rhett in LinkedIn, he conducted a study that says outsourcing has caused high employment, loss of income, and loss of competitive advantages, leaving people without financial support and employment. If these companies are outsourcing to different countries because of the low tax rates, then they are sadly mistaken. So basically, it's only benefiting the big CEOs, and it's not benefiting our economy as a nation. As I talked about, The whole point of this was to save money for America. Yet taxes are increasing, tariffs are increasing for other countries such as China, India, and Bangladesh. So we still continue to keep with this outsourcing, knowing that we are continuing to lose money. And then we also lose money in the process of training unskilled overseas workers. Yeah, because they are skilled, but there's also the barrier between language and cultures. And according to Kirsten Stevens, who wrote the article in the Washington Post, there's always going to be a miscommunication between the two nations, between our nation and other nations. So there are things that we can't avoid, such as political and cultural views. In conclusion, outsourcing jobs to China will be a negative impact to the U.S. economy. We will increase employment, force dependence on other countries, and harm the circulation of money.
All right, structurally everything's good. You've got a clear proposition. The secondary claims are laid out at the beginning in a preview. You signposted the body of the speech. Usually you're providing a little bit of explanation as you're presenting your evidence. Sometimes I think there's some assertions in the body of the argument. I'm not exactly sure what the argument about CEOs means and why it's a potential harm. They got to be doing something with their money, so you got to be explaining why what they're doing with their money is not something that's beneficial to the economy. I think that there's just a presumption here without any demonstration of particular harm. There's an argument about tariffs on the third point that is not really developed. It sounds to me like the argument is that there are other countries that are taking advantage of us and our free trade policies. Maybe that should be the argument. It could be a little bit more focused then, that there is an imbalance in the rules of trade between countries that are creating these particular problems. There was one quote at one point, I was thinking about maybe arguments that somebody might make in response to the movement of jobs, and there might be a lot of reasons that the jobs move. Cost, of course, is the main issue, but is it cost of labor? And then there was a piece of evidence that you had that suggested that it can't be anything except the labor costs. You said, because if you think it's the tax policy, guess again. And I'm going, okay, well, that's a good piece of information to have, but it's not a very complete piece of information. And like I said, that seems to suggest a potential alternative causality to the shift in jobs overseas. You did a good job citing your sources in the body of the speech, and like I said, I thought you had a lot of good testimony, some statistics that support your position. You're doing a solid job on that. The presentation is fine. Okay, thank you.